Hello there. Hi. Um, so tonight we're going to be playing Hearts of Iron 4 with
I may be snooping on it over on the second monitor.
uh, a good friend of mine, BrassGecko, who's my companion in many multiplayer endeavors. Uh, that would explain my other viewer, if that's true, Brass. Um, so we're going to play Hearts of Iron 4. Uh, we are. We kind of do things at our own pace. This may not be particularly interesting, but I will try and talk about some things as they come up design wise. Um, just to kind of give us some insights as to why it's been a fascinating game and why it's a genre of game that we find ourselves that we keep coming back to. So yeah, I'm going to be England, Brass is going to be Japan, and there's some focuses there that kind of let us link up, and we're going to see what we can do about taking over the world / making it a better place to live. So let's do that. Just want to make sure that it picks up. I might have to turn on music because it's a little dull otherwise. Stream-wise.
But there's all this lovely interface and like clanking occasional noises.
The click clank clunks, yes, very. That's a little too loud. All right.
Also, did you know your camera has a little red glowing pixel?
Yeah,
in
I
the
saw
upper
that.
left-hand quadrant,
Yeah.
and I can see nothing else now.
Yeah, this camera is literally from 2005, 2004. It's like a Microsoft Life Cam that I got for free at some point. And I'm literally A, surprised that it worked at all, and B, stunned that it's as capable as it is to stream video. Now, to be fair, I had to download a unofficial driver to get Windows 10 to talk to it. So,
It's the camera equivalent of that old Microsoft joystick I finally had to replace. That just stayed alive far too long.
yeah, I mean, they're like, I still have their Intellibytes running around somewhere. Like those, I don't buy their stuff often, but when I do, they tend to last a while. All right, so yeah. Anything else we need to tweak before we go?
I have no idea.
Great, let's start. And yeah, like I said, this is going to be at our pace. We like to take some time and feel comfortable with where we're going, so we're not going to be burning along here. This is not going to be a speed run, if that's even possible, in Hearts of Iron 4. So, so are you listening to the stream, or are you just listening to me?
No, I can't hear this.
Okay, cool. So I was just saying that we're playing it at our own pace. Do not expect a speed run. We will go slow when we need to.
The entire way.
Yeah, no, I can't with this music. I may have to find
Gotta get one of those non-copyright infringing,
so
like Spotify or YouTube playlists.
there is actually Twitch actually has some Spotify playlists that are completely rights free that they recommend.
Yeah. Some of the electronica type ones are not too shabby.
I'm actually gonna put one of those on quietly in the background because I literally cannot with this music.
Nice. I get to start out with outdated equipment in production.
That sounds like a bad thing.
Looks like it's boats, subs. There's gonna be so much more equipment to think about than little old China.
Yeah, our last play as co-op China was interesting. Um, kind of just stalled out there, I guess. I guess we didn't make any friends or enemies, so
Yeah, it ended
nothing
up
really
really
happened.
boring once we consolidated. I mean, I guess, hazards of non-historic.
Yeah. All right, we've got some appropriate level of EDM happening that is more tolerable. All right.
Okay, so there's the rekindle the old alliance thing that I need to make sure I don't lock out.
See, I need to see if I have a similar. I'm sure there's some sort of Pacific focus. Burma Road is also in England. That's fun.
You may not want to go.
Oh
with
no,
that.
no, I'm not saying I'm gonna click it. I'm just saying it's cool that it's also here as well as in China's. So yeah, I see where I don't want to click for sanctioning Japan. That seems good.
I'm looking to see if any of these, like, the rekindle the old alliance one actually pops up an event for you.
Okay, so it might not be a thing I can.
Japan seek to join the Allies, so
Okay.
it straight up tries to put me in your faction.
I wonder how easy it would be to get out of the Allies as the leader of the Allies. Just like throw the whole thing in disarray.
I actually don't know if you can, since you're like the
I'm
faction founder.
Yeah, but that means I can. I think that means I can. Yeah, I have dismantle faction as a button.
Oh, how about that?
Figure it out for yourselves. So yeah, I don't think I have a focus that specifically targets Japan positive relations.
Okay.
At least one that's not named in a way that's not that's super clear.
Oh, we'll have to see if the all the standing stuff works out properly now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for leasing. I should say, just for the sake of anyone ever watching, we're playing with the Waking the Tiger expansion. Actually, all the expansions, all the DLC is active, I believe, at this point. I think there's anything I don't have now. But yeah, leasing should work. All right, I start with Radio 1. That's handy.
So I guess I'm going democratic here. It's kind of a shame that so many of Japan's trees here are locked into different ideologies.
Yeah, it seems like they really want you to go one way or the other, right? There's no.
Well, you have to,
Yeah.
but you have essentially 4 trees that are mutually exclusive.
Interesting. So it's hard to do a hybrid Japan.
Yeah, like the democratic one, there's no option to cross and touch any of these other 3 trees entirely. And aside from that, it's just kind of general upgrade type things.
Hmm.
On the other hand, going democratic does give me the oh wait, never mind. I misread that.
so surprised that the map panning on the keyboard is not a thing in here. Every other game I've been playing recently that is a world view has WASD on for panning.
Yeah, just arrow keys.
And of course, you can't remap it because it's a Paradox game. Why would you ever want to change keys? All right. Anyway,
Well, between the two of us, we should be able to rule the seas.
I would hope so.
Okay, it is kind of refreshing having all this stuff already researched.
Yeah, I had a few doctrines already in place.
Yeah, you even have radio, don't you?
Yeah. Yep. What am I looking for? So yeah, these decisions, these events and decisions that they added in Waking the Tiger have really brought out a really interesting layer to this game where these used to be, actually these didn't exist. These are essentially little quests and little choices that you can make that end up being sometimes being quest chains, which is really cool. Like you do one thing, it will bring up a different event that can further lead to more actions. And many of them are, almost all of them are specific to your country, and allow you to unlock more resources, kind of help you lean one way or the other in terms of a government.
I haven't actually looked at it. If like any of the air doctrines are actually focused on naval stuff at all. I think they just all kind of have the same sort of options.
I mean, like for having access to, oh, for like, oh, I mean, there are the carrier ones, or doctrines, you said, sorry.
Yeah, I was looking at the air doctrines though. Like, yeah, there's plenty for the naval ones. But on the air, pretty much all of them have some sort of naval mission efficiency booster.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard to just, you know, if you're doing air, there wouldn't be a reason to have a tree just for naval air.
Yeah. I was mostly just trying to figure out if any of them had slightly better boosts of any sort.
Sorry, I'm still messing with my radio here. There's also kind of a disconnect between the radio and the style of game we're playing, but I don't know. It certainly makes it feel more interesting. Not more interesting, but higher energy. All right. Of course, music is just. All right, so it's gonna, let's just do quiet for a little while. Once I'm in a better groove for what we're doing, maybe I'll put some music back on. So apologize if it's a little quiet, a little droning, but there's some things I need to think about. So it's always been, what's still a thing I'm still trying to figure out in Hearts of Iron is the angle to take, things to focus on. Like, especially when you start as a big country like the United Kingdom, they start you off with a lot of units. Almost all of them are out of date, and it's kind of up to you to kind of determine what they're like, what direction to take things. And it's almost like it's an interesting sandbox in that it's really up to you, and in this case, me and BrassGecko, what we're gonna do. Are we gonna? I mean, we're gonna go democratic because we're gonna try to link up, but we could go fascist. We could go communist. We could try and take over the world. We could try and stop Germany. You know, it's there's almost too many choices, but in a good way, where it's like, well, what do we do? What are our goals? And any good game gives you the space to make goals for yourself. Whether or not you meet those goals or you meet them well, that's their thing. But at least gives you the space to make those goals, and that's always been really really appealing to me about this series. So what are our initial thoughts in regards to Germany?
Well, we'll kind of have to see what they do, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
but I doubt I'll really be in a position to do much there.
Yeah. Yeah, because we do
I
have.
guess it'll also depend on, like, if they get aggressive, and then if, you know, France wants into the Allies, and what happens with Poland.
Right. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to influence kind of their, because without historic AI turned on, I guess we still don't really have a sense of if it's just random or if there are kind of factors that the AI thinks about in terms of what direction it takes Germany.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So yeah, the Allies. All right, so the Allies are just me, Canada, great. Parts of actually the majority of my Commonwealth in Africa, India, and Australia. Just gonna set up some civilian factories. I don't really know to what extent anyone watching this either on demand or live knows about the game. So I won't. I could spend an hour just talking about how it works. But essentially,
I have so many more factories that I'm able to use.
Yeah, I'd say I am in the same boat for naval factories too, which I'm also not used to. You're in control of a country in 1936, and it's up to you to play out the next 10 to 20 years of World War II, which can go in any number of directions, which is kind of the point. If you want to be Germany and become democratic, you could, but it does start you out historically where everyone was in 1936.
Don't forget to hunt down all your armies too.
Yeah, I got a big mix here of cavalry and light tanks and.
Yeah, just you'll probably have a bunch out in like Africa and across the colonies.
Oh God, that's right.
Assigned to different groups just to keep them orderly.
Yep, there they are. In Egypt. Yep, sure. I forgot about that. I should put one in Canada just to keep an eye on them. Okay. So we are going to try and centralize our armies to kind of start us out with a very spread out amount of units being England. My resources are fine for now. Definitely want to get the Navy as capable as possible. Oil, as always, historically is an issue. How many dockyards are we dealing with here? But yeah, I'll try and talk to as many systems in the game as I can as I'm going along. Here I'm setting up production. You basically assign a number of factories to make guns and tanks and your fighters. These will build up production as time goes on. So the longer the factory can make the guns, the faster it can make guns. If that makes any sense. And if you stop the line from going, then it's hard. It takes time to ramp it up again. We're just gonna have everything kind of going up here. Get our maximum of our factories done. So how are your resources looking?
1 second.
Let's get our people from Africa back home. I don't really feel compelled to keep them in Africa. Oh, that does something. God, I'm gonna be trying to use Wisely all night for map panning. Right back to Alexandria. And I believe, let's see, what our other units look like here. Good Lord, we have people in Singapore. Well, we have ships in Singapore. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna stay there. I don't think I'm gonna bring him home. I guess technically, do I run?
Alright, I think I hunted down all of my divisions.
Yeah, mine are everywhere.
Yeah, mine are at least... I can fit most of them onto one screen.
The sun never sets on the British Empire.
Mine just string out down into Micronesia.
I need it. Why can't I?
Okay,
Oh, he has to be at a port, right? He's at a port, though. I have to send him to a place that has a port, though. For him to make the trip.
Oil,
there. Yep.
aluminum, and rubber are all initial sticking points, especially oil.
Yeah, oil's. I mean, you know, that's Earth history, but yeah, oil is short for me as well.
Now, do you get easy access to all those resources in Singapore? Like, they're not directly yours, but...
I don't believe I see any of those. I can set up trades with them for it, but I don't believe I have access to them because they're not in my sovereignty.
Really? It's British Malaya.
Yeah, but it's technically not me. It's
They're an integrated puppet.
Right, but I don't get their resources. I'm pretty sure I don't.
I wonder if you get like cheaper deals for it though.
They have a lot of rubber there. Good Lord.
Yes, yes they do. And a decent bit of oil.
Yeah, I'm only making like 87 rubber total, so I definitely don't have Singapore resources at my disposal.
Yeah, I have access to 0 rubber.
Well, I do have a little extra, so if you wanted to set up, I guess we should have a trade route, right?
Trade with each other to make sure
It's not
Our
actually.
factories go back and forth.
It's not actually a bad idea.
I do extract a decent bit of chromium. Where's that coming from? Oh, okay, just southern Japan.
Yeah, sorry, it's for the other slow intro. It's just, it takes a bit
It looks like I start off with a oil trade route
remember how everything works
with the
again.
US then.
Yeah, I just set up a couple actually with them as well.
It just starts me with one
Really?
by default for 16.
That's handy.
And historically accurate, I believe.
Do I want to... I guess it depends on what... See, this is the problem with starting with as England, though, is it's really easy to just get overwhelmed with choices. There's a lot of stuff kind of happening all at once. But do what we can. We are definitely going to stay democratic. The real name of the game is to see what Germany does. Germany tends to...
I'll get some aluminum for you, I guess.
Okay.
Or
Germany...
aluminium, I guess.
that's correct, Governor. Yeah, Germany tends to drive the direction of the game because they swing so much weight politically, and they have so many focuses, national focuses that they can take that enable them to take so much land so quickly that if they get grabby and they get motivated to do so, it can change the whole scope of the world, which is of course what happened in World War II, and to an extent World War One, but we'll save my gaps in history for a different stream. Yeah, I think I want most of my boys just to come home. I have all these little. Almost kind of would rather go with a smaller country just so I can, I mean, not smaller, but less colonies, just so it's easier for me to get a sense of what I'm working with. If I want to assign missions to my ships, have them just patrol.
So the tree that I've picked here to eventually align with the Allies does block off all the Marco Polo Bridge incident, or the focus-based China war goals.
Okay.
So I guess I need to decide what my plan is here. It's weird having it, being a relatively larger player and not knowing what the world's gonna do or like where I should focus.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, well, I have all these units, all these boats. What the hell should I be doing with them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we should start to see signs of what's happening relatively soon.
Okay. Gonna have my boats patrol. I have a lot of... So this is my main fleet.
Just start off with the general industrial base.
Yeah, getting research, getting production efficiency up. Extraction probably. I think I'm gonna try and I'm probably gonna try and go synthetic oil pretty early on.
Alright.
Just because it's gonna be scarce for the amount of ramp up that I suspect will need to happen.
Hey, we have adjacent territory.
Do we?
Yeah, the Gilbert Islands.
I don't know where those are.
Well, luckily there's a handy little search function.
I will freely admit that, yes, okay, fine.
a very important, very important.
Well, I mean,
location.
they're named Gilbert, so they have to be really. Wow. Okay, that is way out there. Okay, so these islands will form the nexus of our bonds of our two nations.
Yes, we will capture everything around them.
So do you own the entire archipelago here? Like, I can't tell what color they are.
Mine's all that light brown stuff.
Okay, yeah, you do. It's like the Caroline Islands and.
Yeah. So to the east, you've got the U.S. island chain, and then Australia's got the green ones off of Papua New Guinea.
Gilbert. That's a great name for an island. For islands.
It's actually kind of a big mixture of island owners there.
And I'm guessing those are flush with resources. Just littered with oil and.
Pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I don't see any resources on any of those islands. So I guess good staging areas are about what they do. Although there's a ton of chromium in New Caledonia, which is actually kind of near me. All right, haven't even started the game yet. Still getting our bearings, but this is what you get in for when you're playing Hearts of Iron.
I feel like that
you settle in.
might cause some tension.
Ah. Just say it's for a training exercise, and they'll be fine.
Gonna take on the Philippines for that rubber. That single rubber.
Yeah, okay. I'm more or less, I think, okay to go to speed 1. Just to kind of start things playing out a little bit.
I've got my initial stuff done, I guess.
I need to set up an army group at some point here, but I can do that while we're speeding on. I'm out of practice since I didn't handle the armies last time.
I was thinking of that with the trade and resources.
Ready to move.
So we will select get all of our armies on England.
All in.
On England. In England. Give them a general.
Ready.
Field marshal to keep an eye on to keep an eye on the general. Gotta watch those generals. The fleet itself, I don't know if that can. I don't think those can be their own army group. I mean, it makes sense, but there's a fleet specifically. Yeah, it's only the. So each fleet has an admiral, but not you can't have a group leader. The biggest one is probably going to be. Not necessarily. Hello, Mr. Select 5119. Good to see you again. Yes, indeed. Once more into the breach. I remember World War II very well. Back when I was. That would make me 80 something right now, and I look great for 80, I think. What are you up to tonight, Mr. Select? Stranger that I don't know personally at all. All right, yeah, I'm good to move forward when you are. Just let me know.
Yeah, go for it.
Speed 1,
Yeah, let the initial things all shake out.
get the 20 events that all pile up.
I bet you Germany starts doing something in the Rhineland.
You see, you say that, and it happens every time, but not. This might be the time for it to. They'll just pass over it peacefully.
Oh, well, they didn't take it first this time.
So they're on the 4-year plan, which is one of their basic.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
Industry focus.
Yeah.
USSR is purging.
Gross.
See them in a few years.
What's China doing? What's there? Oh, already to land distribution. All right. So we need to focus. Should I identify where the area focus tree has a few research slots buried in it, which are very, very, very useful. Although I start with 4, so yeah. Here's 5 and 6.
You gotta check on what all your
5.
Commonwealthies are doing.
I have so many of them, to be honest.
Keep an eye and make sure no one's doing separatist stuff.
So I can actually see. I have a. If you look at the stream here in a few moments, I have this Commonwealth kind of panel, and it shows how far they are into trying to free themselves. And I can apparently spend those points to demote them if they get feisty, which I haven't dealt with at all, but we'll try and keep them in line. Mr. Select is playing Far Cry 5. How was that?
Subjugate the warlords, Ted.
Yeah. How was Far Cry 5? I didn't get into 4 because it looked too much like 3. I liked 3 a lot, but 4 seemed like more of the same. 5 I've heard is even worse. And I'm not looking for new things in my life, so. Got some patrols outside of Germany. Gonna try and see if we can keep an eye on them. So yeah, it's Paradox. Paradox has established themselves at being very good at kind of the world map strategy game. They have their three I guess at this point 4 main branches of it. With Hearts of Iron, which focuses on the World War II era. Europa Universalis, which is like 1200 to like 1500s. They have actually I guess there's 5. They have the Victoria series, which they haven't had a new one of those for quite a few years, which is focused on kind of the 1800s to 1900s in that area. Victoria, obviously for Queen Victoria, so it would be 1800s. And then Crusader Kings.
What core provinces of mine does China own?
Manchukuo? No, I mean they have that. Manchukuo.
That's my puppet.
Okay.
Or sorry, Imperial Protectorate.
Puppet, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything that has a year foreign claim on it that they have currently.
Oh wait, maybe I was reading it backwards. Maybe that's why they don't like me.
Oh, because you're in where your puppets are in Manchukuo.
Well, I know China has claims on Taiwan there.
And then
so at minimum, there's that.
And then they have Crusader Kings, which is like medieval times. But each of them kind of tackles the world map strategy game from a slightly different angle.
Yeah, all of Manchukuo as well.
Crusader Kings is all about you as the ruler and your line, your legacy, and your bloodline. And you're trying to marry your daughters off to rich houses so they can keep the the, the legacy going. Victoria is about kind of America and trade and economy. Europa Universalis is more about the country as a personality, and its place in like discovering new lands and discovering the Americas. And Hearts of Iron is a lot more strategic and war focused because it's literally built around World War II. So it's less about making your country kind of the personality, but more so the direction of the country that you pick. It doesn't really handle. There aren't really like cultural mechanics in Hearts of Iron as there are in other games. You don't see a lot of the country's culture. You don't really deal with their religion. You don't deal with their. You do deal with their politics to the extent of if it's one of the 4 flavors of politics. That they can be, but you don't really.
You could probably speed to this.
Fair enough. They don't really. Most of the flavor of each country is through their decision tree, which is their focus tree, which basically is what lets you decide what steps you want your country to take. Each tree selection gives you a reward, or will start an event, and at some point you'll kind of have to be locked into, do I go communist? Do I stay democratic? Do I want to go fascist? Do I want to align myself with one of the factions? Yeah, it's they've done. Oh, and then finally, Paradox has Stellaris, which is their space game like this, and that's obviously not based on Earth. Whereas it's a galaxy, you're colonizing star systems and building ships, and they've been doing some good work on that. The politics are a little weak. But they've recently changed kind of how warp works between systems. So there's some good stuff there. BrassGecko and I have played a few rounds of that, and we've enjoyed it. Yeah, alright, so I should get my guys doing jumping jack, shouldn't I?
Ready to move.
I'm so
That'd be a bad idea.
I'm so out of practice of this. Jumping jacks is our way of you can have armies exercise, and they will quite literally do jumping jacks.
It's mostly important if you have some green troops scattered around.
Yeah, most of mine are at least 2 and above.
It just depends if you can afford the supply replacement at the moment. Which probably isn't a big deal. You do get that nice army XP.
Yeah. Yeah, so exercising gives you more army XP, which you can spend to modify the templates of your units. As does Navy XP and Air XP, as those do for those categories. So you also gain it through combat, which we're not at war yet. We're just quietly seeing what Germany does. Keeping some Civ factories. So we're gonna just ramp up on Civ factories here. Don't forget to check your events and decisions for any resource stuff to shoot for.
That's true.
Because I have some things I can do pretty early on.
Like developing oil fields.
Yeah.
Oh, with excavation 3.
That's a goal to work towards. And then so yeah, there are
definitely some interesting ones. Some heavy discounts for different types of construction.
Well, my king just died. It's a sad day over here. And now we're less stable, which makes lower stability, reduces how effective our factories are. So yeah, this is a game of multiple strings to pull that pull other strings. It's definitely a lot to take in all at once, and I would not consider myself a master at this. I've probably played maybe 5 to 6 games from start to finish, but I at least know kind of the flow. My men who are exercising.
So I have an inter-service rivalry category for events.
Really?
That's got a lot of really interesting things. I can choose to prioritize either steel for guns or steel for ships, army aircraft or naval aircraft.
What does that do as a mechanic?
So each of the, like steel for guns or steel for ships,
Yeah.
each one picks 2 provinces, adds 2 building slots, and then either 2 military factories or 2 naval dockyards in each.
Okay.
And I have an inter-service rivalry, like, stat. You can probably see if you click on Japan, even. Or I forget if you can see other people's things, national spirits.
I cannot see your.
Oh yeah, this
spirits.
person. Wait, no, go to details. Like I can see your stoicism.
Oh, right. Yep. Okay. Zaibatsus.
Yeah, so there's that inter-service rivalry balanced, and picking one of those events goes to will replace it.
Oh, okay. So you kind of go balanced to unbalanced in one of the
It goes
two.
to either army strengthened or navy strengthened.
Interesting.
And I assume if you keep favoring one, it goes more and more heavily.
That's a cool thing for you to kind of have to plan.
I don't
for
actually
and
know what it
balance for.
does. Like I don't know what having one.
Yeah, that's.
You know, like does it affect morale of the other ones or?
Like they have like 80% of this in place where they have these systems where you can do things that lead to other things, but not knowing what those will be is what they I think kind of have to work on.
Go all the event files.
Or at the very least communicate to you generally what it might do, right? Like this will eventually, add certain factories, or this may eventually anger the nation.
Your navy has left.
Yeah, your navy's gone. They've gone to the sea. They're not coming back. No worries, Mr. Select. I was just asking how you were liking Far Cry 5 because I didn't play 4 because I played a lot of 3 and didn't see anything new in 4 or 5 that interested me.
Oh, there we go. There's a focus I can take called "Shut Up and Behave Like Adults" that solves the rivalry.
Really?
No.
Oh. So say that didn't sound particularly.
I mean, we are on non-historic here. Gotta look through all those staffing people too and see if there's any that are locked behind focuses.
Yeah. Yeah, without really knowing kind of what the plan here is, it's hard to pick a direction yet.
Yeah, I mean, my current general plan is to focus on industrial initially,
Yeah.
and then naval and air just go for the carrier supremacy. I have started off researching some naval doctrines, even just starting down that tree.
Interesting. Yeah, they just started me with just one, but that locked me into one of the trees though. So where it's the fleet and being doctrine for naval.
Yeah, it started me off with the first one in base strike, and that's I think where I want to be anyway. So I've just gone for carrier primacy.
Wouldn't mind going submarines just because submarines are cool.
So if the U.S. decides to go anything other than democratic, it could, I guess, be fun to challenge them for the Pacific as part of the Allies.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what. Though in the past games we played, they tend to be dormant for so long.
They've just got so many focuses that are internal, right?
Yeah.
So without a historic thing to guide them to the active ones, I don't know exactly what it takes. Because they flirted with like all of the different war plans, didn't they?
Right. Yeah. There's like
They researched like 2 or 3 of them. But Europe was gone and the USSR was gone, and they still hadn't done anything.
They're like, wait for it.
Even historic. Like we'd won the war when they finally asked to join.
Yeah, so
It seems difficult to get the proper sort of stalemate thing where they have time to build up.
yeah.
Under AI control, at least, I guess.
I mean, you essentially need to do something about Germany, or at least to slow it down, or Russia, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, the UK was still holding.
Yeah, it's true.
I think, didn't we even see them do like an amphibious landing in Italy or something? I forget.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like I remember a Rome falling event popping up.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that it's useful to have men in Egypt right now.
Orders.
Because again, we don't really know. So there's definitely a depth. Italy looks like they're doing Italy things in Africa.
Well, they start off at war with Ethiopia, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
That's why they're the tutorial.
Right.
There's the first set of events available.
So yeah, it does an excellent job with the actual like war planning once you are at war, in terms of making fronts, in terms of assigning generals and war plans, and you can get very in depth with it. But when you're not at war, it turns into more of just kind of a keeping all the things moving.
No, under the events, it actually does show me what the rivalry thing does.
It tells
So
you what the event.
If Navy is strengthened, then military factory construction speed is minus 10%, dockyard construction speed plus 10%, factory output minus 5%, dockyard output plus 5%.
Okay, cool. That's nice.
And more or less reversed the other way. Some slight differences, but yeah. Some production cost bonuses to different things.
Listen up.
Got our men doing jumping jacks. Gotta build up the army XP. gonna send one guy over here. I'm gonna ship one guy from Africa to go live in Canada because gotta keep an eye on those Canadians. You don't know what they're up to. That's gonna take him a month to get there. Godspeed, Cavalry Brigade. Godspeed. What are our templates looking like? So, yeah, you can edit the. Oh yes. Also change their 3D model now, which is kind of interesting. So you edit the templates of your units. So each division is actually comprised of individual units. You add engineering support. You add artillery support. And to make changes to this, and that's where the Army XP comes into play. You spend Army XP to modify and create new templates. So if I have a new kind of unit, or if I have a new kind of tank that I want to start putting into use in the field, I have to make a template for it. It's not like an RTS or like a StarCraft where I can just make a unit and have it go out and work. I need to actually. I can make them. I can make anything I have the resources and knowledge to make, but I can't use them in the field. I can't assign them to an army until I have them in a template. And the template also determines how much supply they need. It determines how much combat width, which we'll get into once we start fighting at some point. It's almost time for that first focus.
Indeed.
I shipped one of my guys from Africa to Canada. It's gonna take him a month to get there. But I want him to just keep an eye on things there. I'm sure he's asking himself what he did wrong. We're going to bring a couple more from Africa because it's not particularly useful to have. Alright, so we usually pause during the focus to kind of figure out what the next focus is going to be. I like getting free factories. Let me know if you wanted me to repause for focus selection.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Remember that it saves the research, or like it banks it. So you can
I
bank
know,
a
but
little bit later.
it's still an instinct thing to.
Yeah. If I ever have crazy things to work on, I will definitely say something.
Okay. All right, things are a little more chill now. Let's get some music going. We can find some songs that aren't incredibly aggravating. This guy seemed like he had a decent playlist.
I wonder if I should actually be looking at synthetic oil.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be the first thing I think I research out of my normal routine.
I don't know how worth it is, but I really don't have access to my own oil. I can eventually get 8 local oil.
Oh, through decisions?
Yeah, through one of my events. That's just the one that takes excavation 3. I am adding a 5th research slot soonish though, so there's that.
What a surprise! National Spain is a thing.
What will this mean?
It always means the same thing. I'm kind of I don't know. I'd be curious what the seeds are for the non-historic AI, because we tend to see these same things happening.
Can you play as Spain?
I think you can play as anybody, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So we get her some more research in 61 days.
I think despite like the early kickoff that they usually have for World Tension, don't they just have a generic tree or something? I actually think I remember looking at them.
Who, Spain?
Yeah.
That's the...
Yeah, their focuses are all just generic things.
Huh. Both for... Okay, yeah. I guess they haven't been fleshed out yet then.
I mean, I guess that's reasonable because
They weren't particularly...
their part in everything is usually over pretty quick.
Yeah. Though I think it's their goal to eventually have a decent tree for everybody. All the like the major countries, not every tiny little
Yeah, makes sense.
sovereignty. Alright, so we should look at making destroyers, making lots of destroyers.
I forget how to
We
name
have a
mission.
decent navy here.
There they are.
We're not doing a whole lot with it right now, to be honest. So let's just get them out and patrolling. Sitting at home. I think these are also the ships that I've been making as time has been eking forward. So let me get some navies on the move. Mostly want to keep an eye on Germany. They're again, shockingly, the big player here. See, these guys don't need to be here. These guys can come home. We got some ships over there. Everybody to Gibraltar. So peeps are political power, drives, and with each expansion seems to be more and more of a very important currency in Hearts of Iron. Not only does it let you kick off these political actions, such as banning fascism, for example, they also let you appoint individuals that will give you just flat bonuses. And at 150, it tends to be the first real threshold that you want to start spending points at. They're generated based off of your stability and any other debuffs or events you have going on you will influence that accordingly. So we're at least mobile. We have a lot of navies out there doing things. they're all patrolling. We're not at war, so there's not much that they can do. But goals, which is something I always like to try and ask myself when I'm playing this, is like, what do we want to do? And once we get more of a direction from Germany, Brass and I will kind of figure out what the next steps are.
Was there somewhere you can see who's taking your trade goods?
Yes, in the trade window, it'll say exported, and you just hover over that number. It'll tell you who is exporting your stuff, or who's importing your exports. A little slow here to start. And most of the games that I've played of Hearts of Iron, it definitely starts off this way. You're just kind of, if you're not Spain or Italy, things just kind of slowly go, have their own pace. It's certainly interesting trying to keep all these. I mean, I'm not really doing a whole lot right now, as I'm sure you've noticed. I could be, you know, I have things. I have my infrastructure starting. I have my production cooking. I don't really have enough XP to do anything with my templates. I have research cooking, so there's not a whole lot of. I mean, there's micromanaging, and then there's kind of just general plate spinning. Of course, the extra layer of warfare gets added on once you start fighting. It's nice though. Get a boost from the Commonwealth. Surprised Germany hasn't grabbed things yet. It's like they're building forts right now on the French border.
Indeed.
Wow, do you see all those forts they get for the next, the Atlantic Wall?
Yeah.
It's like 15 odd free forts.
Just, you know, contingent on France not existing anymore.
Yeah. That's not hard to do though, so.
France is working on its air force. Did we figure out any peacetime things you can spend those telephones on?
Attaches were a thing we could do,
Yeah, that's right.
but that's intrinsically a reputation modifier. So the other side of your attaché will not like if you do that. Or I should say the people on the other side of the war that you're sending the attaché to will not like you doing that. That's on them. Just chilling out, enjoying the countryside here, and jolly old England. We got our men doing jumping jacks, push-ups, waiting to see what Germany does. Wait till we get our first political power threshold or points. Don't really need to make any decisions right now. We're probably not going to be banning any government types for a little while. So I do have some interesting actions. I can give refuge to both German and Italian scientists for a research boost.
Oh, nice.
It lowers stability a little bit, and it goes away if they ever become democratic. But what are the odds of that happening? Not high.
I haven't looked at what Italy's doing. Naval stuff currently.
Yep, just the standard. Starts the World War with Spain having civil war and Italy chomping on Ethiopia. So yeah, oil is definitely low.
Looks like Australia is gonna back you.
I wish it showed you, honestly. Okay.
New Zealand is working on its sheep farms.
I actually get a pretty hefty research bonus from the Commonwealth currently.
I was seeing there's a bunch of stuff that leads to that modifier.
All these little things scattered throughout the world. I can't imagine the bureaucracy that must have taken to maintain all this territory when they held it as early as the 30s. How are these freeing up? I'm not building new ones. These are just building automatically. So we're not actually actively building subs, which we probably should be doing. These seem basically like they're the same thing. dum. The game definitely. I mean, it's built around warfare, right? Like, Hearts of Iron is a game about war. And we've definitely had a few matches where we've just gotten tired of things being so kind of static and vanilla that we've just declared war, and that's given us the goal to focus on, and given us front lines to make, and given us an infrastructure from which to build the game on, to build our match on. Without that, you're just kind of
balance all them
chilling.
numbers.
Not interested in picking a particular party yet. Oh, should I go quietly nuclear? That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, that seems like a waste, because some of these are very good, especially the ones that give experience. Yeah, let's go Naval Theorist. I do want to build nukes, though. I mean, England had nukes. Historically,
Oh, that's right. You can actually set limits on your number of ships.
In terms of production?
Yeah, I forgot about that. So you don't just have infinite runs. Because I was like, well, I really don't want to make any more of these obsolete things. But this one's almost done. So yeah, you can just set it to finish after the next one or whatever.
I've got some research to sort out, so I'm going to pause it for a second if you don't mind.
Yeah, same.
So, what to pick? I don't think we're going to be rolling with a lot of tanks right now, at least short term, because I don't really know what the plan is. Carriers are appealing, to be sure. Yeah, let's get a head start on carriers. Let's get that oil going, because we're gonna need it. Just a flat amount of XP. Coastal forts, which we are fine, but they open us up to other things. That might be worth it. I can't do that because there's not enough world tension. World tension being the what it sounds like basically as more countries become aggressive, the world tension increases, and it enables you to convince your politicians and populace that it's reasonable to take certain actions in a state of war. Let's go home defense just to unlock these options. Are you good to unpause?
Just a minute.
Sure.
I got some repercussions to read through.
Do your thing. Yeah. So Hearts of Iron. It's a thing. I can stretch out and be in the tiny corner of my screen. Thus still visible. Thank God. I am still visible. Definitely think that a naval approach. Right. You good? You good?
Yes.
Definitely going to try and be, England was known for their strong navy. I think we should try and follow that up. If I wanted to take some territory, where are my actual? We're a democracy, so we can't just blatantly wage war. That's fine.
Communist China is heading in a direction that can lead to some conflict relatively soon. It'd still be a ways off, though.
Does it involve trying to take China back?
The next ones it can lead to, if they stick with that tree, are focus on China or prepare for war with Japan.
Hey, that's you.
But they'd have another little ways to go before they can provoke me.
Yeah. Well, suffice it to say, I will bring in any incursion against you. I will bring to the council, and we'll see what they say to try and help out.
Well, I'm still pretty fascist, so.
I don't mean to brag. I don't mean boast, but
you just may want to hold off. It might not be too popular yet.
I can do it through back channels. It's fine.
Ooh. New Zealand is developing oil. How valuable. I mean...
No, it's fine. You're fascist. You can say that. As someone who is democratic, I am officially appalled, but...
USSR still purging.
Well, they had a big dinner, you know. It is tempting to just dismantle the entire allies. That would throw so many focus trees in disarray. To just say, you know what, allies are done.
U.S. is doing some security research.
I wonder if a different country would take up the mantle if I dismantled it. One UK guy is
though kind of obsolete already.
Watching. definitely a game that moves by inches. But you know, so chill. Enjoy your Friday evening. Consider world balance / domination. It's not a thing yet you want to rush into. You want to take it slow. It's a tolerable playlist, I suppose. So see, at least you're fascist. If you want to start just taking over things, you have more leeway than I do.
Yeah, I was actually eyeing a couple targets, but the barrier's still pretty high.
It's what, 10 for one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I guess it just depends on where I'm looking. Yeah, like I'm not allowed without having the focuses.
Right.
I'm not allowed to justify against China without a world tension of 75%. But I could go after like the Philippines.
You want their one tire they have?
Yeah, you know. No diplomatic repercussions.
No, they're not in a faction, right? They're just.
They
Oh,
are
oh, right. They're a
puppet
puppet
of
of. Yeah, I always forget that they're a puppet of America.
Remember that was kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's fair. I mean, not fair like morally, but it's a fair thing to say. I'm actually curious why they have the resistance map mode to have its own mode, because I really don't see. I've never seen that in action. I've never seen that.
Yeah, aside from that first co-op UK game, we've never had to deal with it.
Yeah. It definitely hasn't happened enough where I need to actively be monitoring it. Germany's doing. So it looks like Germany is just working on internal stuff, getting some excavations. I'm pretty sure they in previous games have moved by this point, right? They've at least.
I mean, last time they did.
Yeah. If it's worth it to get the rubber, I don't really need the rubber right now. Either the two people watching. Hope this is entertaining to some extent. I know who the third person is. It might be the person I'm playing with right now. So the other two, hope you're doing okay out there. I should know the other one. So it's that third person that I don't know. I hope you're doing well tonight. Whoever you are. Yeah, my men are not doing very efficient jumping jacks. Supply is fine, but
I mostly stopped one.
yeah, I'm only up to like 7 XP, and I started that from the beginning, so. We're gonna keep them jumping. We could do speed 3 until things start getting popping.
Yeah, sure. Considering we've only covered half a year so far.
Yeah. And what a half year it's been. Let me tell you. Oh, there's a naval conflict happening briefly. Guessing it's a Spanish thing.
Ethiopia sorted.
It was actually over by I'll say Casablanca, Marrakesh. I'll say Casablanca, but that's not a country. That's a place in a country. God, I keep finding little bits of territory that I own that don't have people on it. They're just there. Like I have Gambia. Why do I have Gambia?
Colonialism.
Yeah, I mean I know why, but why? All right. I'm definitely.
Well, if you didn't take it, France is gonna 10.
This is true.
You've seen how efficiently they use their forces.
I mean, they are working on Project Africa at the moment, which I clearly should be opposing them on, because I want all of Africa apparently.
They're still working on all their air stuff. They're gonna have an awesome air force, focus-wise, and they're just gonna lose everything right out from underneath it.
Yep.
Well, except Germany's just building. Does that mean the USSR has finally done purging? Nope, not quite. But yeah, when this next set of focuses finishes, their purge will be done.
And they'll settle into a peaceful state of contemplation and forgiveness. Yeah, it's just simply not worth trading in factories for tires right now. It's definitely interesting how just thinking about this games that focus on World War II. It's a very complex situation, obviously. Clearly, there's a lot that happened in World War II that's very fascinating. That's very intriguing to people all over the world because, you know, movies are still made that are based around events around it. Books are still being written. Like there hadn't really been a time when in Italy doing Italy things. You know, when the world was, there were so many different pieces around the world all coming together or all working towards
Indeed.
discrete goals, and games that focus on that, I don't know, I've always felt a little weird about playing them and getting into them. I mean, there's definitely a space. Hang on, let me decide what I'm going to do before I resume. Can't do that yet. A lot of things I can't do yet. I mean, just to open up this tree, I'll do it. Good to unpause?
Yeah, go for it. Cool.
Hey, look at that. Leadership purges in the Soviet Union. They've changed irrevocably. Because yeah, it was it was a horrible conflict. It was the war to end all wars. It was millions of people died both in war and disgusting genocides, and yet at this point, almost 80 years later, we're content to kind of recreate it and think about it and play with the pieces. So I've definitely hit parts of, and this, like when I first started playing this, when Hearts of Iron 4 came out, I definitely wanted to learn more. I mean, I know the bullet points of the war, but I kind of wanted to learn more, and there's this rabbit hole of content that you can get into of wanting to know the economies of all the countries involved and how it influenced the shape of each of the governments of each of the countries and each of the factions and what that meant for their technology, and I think from that angle it's certainly where most of my interest comes. I don't take pleasure in even. I mean, it is a game, so you can't get too wrapped up in it. But it is a smacularum of a smacularum. It's hard to say. It is an effigy, a recreation of a terrible time in the world. So trying to play it non-historically as we're doing takes kind of, it makes that feel a little less weird because things could turn out differently. Maybe Germany won't be be led. I mean, they're led by the same man, but maybe they won't do horrible things. That, or you can go in there and try and kick them out before things get out of hand. So, there's a lot to say there about the psychology of playing and engaging and immersing yourself in a game that's built around World War II. My primary draw, as I consider going nukes, and we could spend 3 hours talking about that, but it's not time for nukes. I think excavation is the name of the game here. The primary draw for me is the various economies of points and research, and I mean, like, there are literally 5, 7, 9, 11 different types of research trees alone, right? And within those there are subtrees, and there are doctrines that are exclusive with each other, and you can only pick one. And if you choose to go air, or you go navy, or go army, and how much of each of those you go, and where you get your resources from, like, these are all the things that are actually interesting to me. You could put this game in a different time setting on Earth, and it would be more or less as interesting as it is.
Well, I actually have the same subject thing for Manchukuo.
Okay.
And the other one, so I could annex them eventually.
I don't know how you actually influence the points here, though. Like how you get these little chess piece points, the little pawn points.
Isn't it just political points?
No, that's a different kind of points. At least in the subjects panel, like the little political the little chess pawn points are a different currency, but I don't know how to interact with that currency.
Yeah, though, like, change autonomy level to annexed, you need 204 more political power.
Where are you seeing that?
Just when I hover over the gravestone, for, I guess, make them go away. So
I have gravestone. I have the gravestone too. It's 165 political power and then 500. Whatever that currency is for me.
Yeah. No, I have the same thing. I guess I'm not sure what it actually means either. Is there like an event thing?
I've never seen an event that deals in that currency. I've actually only seen that currency or that resource mentioned in that panel. I don't know if there are actions you can take that will... Yeah, I don't know. It does look like there is a trade cost discount for trading with your underlings.
Gotcha.
Well, if Germany doesn't make a move here, what do you think our play is?
I don't know.
So far, they seem content to work on.
I mean, either they or the USSR should do something at some point.
Yeah. Or we just slowly do our own thing and try and get very greedy. Better stability seems fine. Yeah, none of these are particularly appealing right now. Yeah. But yeah, World War II. You know, it's also compelling because these are governments and sovereignties that represent countries that these are nations and sovereignties that more or less are familiar to us in 2018, right? Like especially with Russia or the Soviet Union and communism, the tone and direction of a lot of those countries has obviously since changed, but you know, most of these countries are in the same place, both, you know, from a government perspective. Hang on one second. I have a sale request here. The Yugoslavian Air Force.
Unleasing equipment to the subject lowers autonomy by 1 for every 100 production cost of transferred equipment.
Lowers their autonomy. Interesting.
The Overlord building factories in puppet territory lowers autonomy. If you trade for the subject's resources, they gain autonomy. Oh, and it looks like there's a continuous focus for it. That's assuming the wiki is up to date.
Yeah, suppress subjects, I see that. Though, I wish they would use the iconography from that panel, other than just master impact 0.5 minus. It's a little inconsistent. I'm good to unpause if you are.
Yep, go for it.
But yeah, sorry, as I was saying, so, you know, it's compelling to try and play in a sandbox that is familiar to you. You know, one of the things that isn't as compelling in something like a Stellaris or or any game where you're taking over
Everyone's still going industrial.
territory or you're governing
France is
territory
working on the Air Force some more.
that you don't recognize, that you have no inherent or intrinsic connection to, it's not as compelling for some people, and that I like to see my world and countries that I know and play in that sandbox, and that's why it's compelling, not necessarily because of this terrible conflict. This particular game was built around conflict, so if you don't fight, then you're kind of just hanging out for 20 years. So coming up with fun ways to create conflict that maybe don't celebrate the terrible things happened is a nice way to go about it. There are some cool mods for this actually that one of the more popular ones, I don't remember its name. It's a large German word that kind of make a really, really anti-history or a really, really alternate history approach, which is pretty interesting. I'm almost out of this thing here. Let's change it up here. I feel like Marines might be a smart thing to get ready early. There's not a whole lot of land around me. Gotta send in those Marines. We finally built a civilian factory. That seemed to take not as long as I expected. Interesting. I wonder why. Oh, never mind. That's a. Okay, never mind. I am talking out my ass. It has to get those synthetic factories going, or the synthetic refineries going. A lot of places to build though, so you gotta be careful. Got our carrier ready. I kind of want to run 800 days. Good God. Let's get our battleships up to sniff. Those carriers are going to be really important at some point when I start actually fighting things. So I have a couple carriers, which are CV. I don't have the NATO nomenclature for ship identification memorized, but most of it makes sense. I think I have just the one carrier in general. Oh, I have 3 carriers. Okay. 4 carriers, strike that. And 1, battleship, I believe CBB is. But I want to upgrade or produce a better carrier. Oh, look at that big boy. One of your finest carriers, please.
Oh, that's interesting. I have a focus that'll just give me, it'll just enable production of the Mitsubishi Zero. Just straight up shortcut to it, I guess.
Just unlocks it for you. Like, here you go.
Yeah, all I need are, all I need are the focus prereqs.
I mean, that was such an iconic plane too, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just a cheap way to ensure that you've got something to use.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really planning on, well, now I'm gonna lock myself out of this. If I wanted to go for battle fleet stuff, I could get a 75% research bonus for super heavy battleships. Just straight to the Yamato, basically.
Nice.
But I'm not going that way.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get some flavor of the countries through these national spirits, like the war to end all wars. You know, given how crucial World War I was to England, that less of your population is inclined to and sign up for the next one. Let's try and get our Commonwealth sorted out. I really want to start nukes, but that's like 3 years. People would even be very surprised in 3 years, but yeah, it's one of those things you kind of have to do or not. It's a little bit of air doctrine going. Nope, looks like Germany's going Rhineland next.
All right. communist China is preparing for war with Japan.
You should probably tell Japan about that.
That current step they're on is just base war support.
Say, I don't really feel like communist China is in a position to do a whole lot versus you right now.
I think they would have difficulties, yeah. For now, at least.
It's interesting that the Spain Civil War is still raging.
Well, we've only been in this for 1 year.
Yeah, but I feel like that usually ties up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. It is going the expected direction still, it looks like.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, so we can do synthetic oil, which will be really good because it's kind of a cheesy thing that I can just make fake oil, but excuse me, you know, much better than just kind of being in a hard place with a very important resource. Save those till I have a better sense of what my let's get some peeps going here. Like a few more subs. This might be the next thing I want to focus on, is getting our subs up to snuff. Having really good subs seems like it might be relevant, especially if Germany gets grabby.
I think I can kick off a civil war reasonably soon.
Oh yeah? In your own country?
Yeah.
Do you have a reasonable way of controlling the outcome?
I don't actually know.
That's both exciting and scary. Oh, look, it's Rhineland. See, yeah, here in I have a few Commonwealth focus tree nodes, and these do use that currency symbol.
Oh, okay. Just gotta make sure to ship them obsolete guns to keep them online.
So yeah, I want them to lose points if I want to keep them.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Thought so. So this would actually lose points for them. That's what I want.
Manchukuo only needs 499 more chess pieces before I can demote them.
Surely, nothing to get worked up about. Stuff and nonsense.
Worrying. Nope, they're back to industrial.
Okay.
Civilian factories, nothing to worry about.
They're like, you know what? We should just make them
Okay,
think.
let's let everybody calm down again.
Get that world tension back down to 0. So yeah, turning. Okay, that actually might be a thing to chase. Now that I've got some time to get my bearings. Yeah, British Malaysia seems like a fantastic target. Yes. Why don't you have one tank? $20 tanks a month. Alright, we wanted to get a better sub cooking. Yeah, I think, at least for me, goal-wise, I think getting British Malaysia annexed will be a thing, because that's a ton of resources.
Makes sense.
Let's build a couple of these refineries here. So we could modify our army's template if we so desired, but we'll wait till we have maybe a slightly more advanced things that we've researched before we start doing that. Excuse me. Marines are ready. Chug chug. Yeah, we should probably start upgrading our equipment a little bit. I think it's early enough to get a start on that, maybe. Well, if we're gonna have a bunch of carriers, then maybe it's. I mean, we already have a decent enough carrier for 1930-ish. Go for the strategic bomber. There we go. Okay, so just take some time for these to kick in.
So,
Hmm.
about that group you sent to keep an eye on Canada.
I might need to send some more men. I like the button for this. Why does this have to happen right now? It's a very whiny.
Mine was an empire coming apart at the seams.
That's a little much.
Just saying, you're looking a little perforated there.
It's just like distributed computing. It's just because it's spread out doesn't mean it's bad. Tell you what, how about I next do development in Canada, taking away 49 of their chess pieces. Unpausing.
Sure, sure.
Oh wow, yeah. That broke it down. It does take a while for that lend leasing to kick in. It's almost worth it to ramp up production just to lend lease to get those points reduced.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole bunch of obsolete rifles, so.
Huh. So we got some pretty badass battleships ready to go. Let's get our cruisers. Let's just get our. Here's, I mean, this could be a long discussion, but which of these is a better choice? You can do this and stare at the numbers. I mean, obviously, one takes a lot more manpower. It's faster. More reliable. Alright, we'll get the Surrey gone. So it's a bigger investment, but she's worth it. Yeah, we're gonna be doing carrier things, so.
Guess I had to eventually.
Listen up!
France is on an interesting decision point. They're going with you possibly so far. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also, wait, do the communists? I mean, the communists won in Spain. So lots of little things. The U.S. is mostly looking at South and Central America so far. You do have a lot of tools. Well, I mean, normally if a war starts, right, if they can manage to contribute to the war, that's a big way for them to gain stuff back. Also, Lend-Lease seems to tick pretty slowly. I mean, I guess I could throw things at them faster. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like one group of green dudes. It's weird feeling completely, like, up to date with where I want to be in research. Well, like, the next naval doctrine thing I can reach is the second one from the very bottom of the longest tree. My carriers are reasonably beefed up right now. Sure. I've done a decent job of being in, like, sort of the right place and the right time for hitting different research credits and focuses and things. Considering I didn't really read ahead too far at the start. Okay, so far the communist China is focusing on China. France is working on Go with Britain. I'm not quite sure that's what they're asking. Oh, so I mean, if Canada went with patriation, that is giving them daily autonomy progress gain plus 1.0. Yeah, just I think I mean that's a really low effort way for them. Burn the royal portraits. The continuous thing.
Thank you, Jack. I didn't realize that. I don't know how that even happened. Certainly hasn't been muted this whole time, I'm sure. Fascinating. Oh, I think I know how that actually happened. Yeah, that's weird. Streaming is hard. Right, I set up a key for it at some point, and I forgot what that key was. I remember. Sorry about that. If people who were trying desperately to hear what I was saying. How's it going, Jack? How are things in your world? This is it's a lot. It's probably my favorite Paradox game out of the kind of the five main staples, the kind of the five main strategy, grand strategy as they're called. Lots of decision making, lots of choices, lots of ways that you can go. You know, like 11 different tech trees with sub-tech trees, and it's a little daunting at first, but I've actually been playing this off and on the past year or so since it came out. And BrassGecko, who I'm playing with right now, I think you may remember from the Colony of Gamer community. He and I have been playing this off and on for quite a bit. But yeah, it's definitely more interesting to play it without the historical AI on, because the different countries will behave not particularly randomly, but they will behave in ways that you might not be able to predict, which is where the real fun can come. All right, so gonna keep. Yeah, 3, I believe I bought Hearts of Iron 3. Jack is saying that he enjoyed Hearts of Iron 3. This, yeah, I actually like this versus Crusader Kings 2 is an interesting thing. Where this shines, so Crusader Kings 2 is more about your personality, about kind of the kooky events that are happening in your dynasty, and you know, making sure that your legacy is maintained. And it definitely feels like you, the person, is playing through the game as you go through your heirs, and there's an interesting agency there as you go through time. Here, it's less about personalities; it's more about the direction of the country, because this is so. You played Hearts of Iron 3, so you're familiar with kind of how laser focused it is on the World War scenario. This is definitely it just scratches that itch better for me in terms of balancing all the spinning plates. Like, you know, I was kind of speaking to this earlier, but I don't necessarily get excited about World War II themes and you know, things set in World War II. I don't like geek out about tanks and guns and the minutia of the war, but I do like the interesting political setups, especially when you play without the historical AI on. Like right now, Germany isn't conquering anything. It's already 1937. They're kind of chilling out. And I'm working with Japan. Well, I will be working with Japan, who BrassGecko is playing, to try and do something democratic. All right, hang on a second. I have France wants to join the Allies. What do you think?
I think it's entirely up to you.
Well, as a potential future member of the Allies, slash...
Well, we'll see. Because I'm about to fire an event over here.
Okay. Yeah, come on in, France. Come on in. Wait. I have some questions about the state of your country. Brass, why are you fighting yourself?
It's complicated.
I'm good to unpause when you are, so.
Oh, it might be a minute here.
That's fine. You got some front lines to set up?
Yeah, I need to see who stayed with me, I think.
While Brass is handling his business here, we'll look at our focus tree.
I think...
I almost want that research slot, to be honest. It's so worth getting as early as possible. Yeah, different countries start with a different number of research slots, and as you'd imagine, the more you have sitting on empty research, like a...
Okay, so I kept most of this.
I really want to get those nukes going, just because it's kind of fun. You'll quietly work on nukes. No one will know about this for 886 days. It's between you and me. Yeah, like certain countries, if you start off with just like 2 research slots, and that slows down the whole progression of the game. So you're starting off as England, you have a lot more options, but you also have a lot more territory to watch over, which slowly slips out of your fingers. And speaking of which, Canada, those damn Canadians. I don't know how you guys feel about Canadians, but they want to be free. I don't know how I feel about this, but I may have no choice at this point. Our British might be in my grasp. Yeah, that's fair, Jack. I have sent a token member of my cavalry to just keep an eye on you guys over there. Actually, there are two of them. I don't think I can stop you guys from leaving, to be honest. Canada has a they had an event called Burn the Portraits, which I feel is a little rough. So some nice oils, and they currently want to reduce their ties. They are still democratic. There's a splash of communism in there. I may want to if I'm feeling like fun, I might try and boost. I can't boost the communism because I'm not communist. But yeah, we'll see what Canada's up to. They're not. We'll see if they get out of our grasp. Yeah, I can't really stop the slide. Oh well. I think I'm gonna let South Africa go. Let them do their own thing. There is a.
I had to unpause and repause real quick because it was being strange.
No worries. I know setting up the front lines can be a little weird.
It's actually just the naval stuff. It wasn't letting me transfer ships to a new fleet.
Huh.
But after I did that, it all worked.
Yeah. Actually, that makes them. It's an interesting blend of choices and not choices. Like, if I wanted to, I guess I could just let them go. Just literally. Return their territory, I think. I don't think there's a way to just let them go, other than hoping they come up with the right choices. So yeah, it's Jack. Yeah, we share pause. I'm the host currently, so I can set the speed, but Brass can pause if he needs to. What's really fascinating about how they did multiplayer in 4 is that the last game that we played, we actually co-op played one country. We played China together, and there's enough to do. Like he handled the armies and the navies, and I handled the diplomacy and the trade. And there's enough. It was kind of fascinating as an experiment. As long as you're at war, as long as there are things to fight, which you can get to pretty easily in this game. You know, he would take care of the war, and he would plan them out and handle that end, while I would make sure that our factories ran and that our allies were happy. But now we are both playing as separate countries, and there's really no, you know, we still have to officially, within the mechanics of the game, become an ally or become partners, or however we want to work towards the same goal. So. Yeah, it's very cool that there's enough things to do, because you can really spend time on the minutia of this game. You know, you can edit the templates of your divisions, just so they're just so. You know, making sure that construction is there's always something that's being worked on, the order of your production. You know, making sure that you're not out of resources. So yeah, it's just enough things for two people to do for a large country like China. A smaller country with less dishes spinning, maybe not so much, or plates, I guess is the term. Let's go look at Brass's Japan. Hey, what happened to Korea?
Just doing their thing.
Wasn't that yours very recently?
Yeah.
You just let them go?
It's part of the deal.
Interesting. So Brass is now... He has some Civil War issues. So are you state or are you just Japan? You're just Japan, right?
No, I'm state of Japan.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Otherwise, this would be horrible.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a great deal if you were Japan. I guess I could see that by clicking on the thing to see which player you are, or which countries.
Yeah, so all they have are the northern island and the southern chunk.
Yeah.
And I've got most of the fleets. Including pretty much all of my new ships. So that's good.
Did you take a big resource hit when you lost Korea and the other parts?
I'll check again in a minute.
Looks like it was just mostly steel and tungsten in Korea and chromium in the south.
Yeah, all I'm negative on currently is chromium. But part of that's like I lost some factories. Like a fair number of factories and dockyards.
Gotcha.
But hopefully this won't take too long to resolve.
I mean, if you I'm trying to think if there's a way I could help you. Not that you'll need it, but
No, I think I'll be alright.
okay. I could send an attaché. I have phones to burn right now, but yeah, let's it's an interesting sort of flow of lots of decisions to make and then very few decisions to make. And there's definitely a skill in being able to see the decision trees from each of those branch out as far as you can. Just in terms of the direction that you want to take.
Air wings to actually do stuff. I don't remember.
How what does it work, sir?
Tell my air wings to actually do things.
You have to.
Wait, I figured it out.
Okay. Glad I was able to help. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, nearly 200 brand new carrier fighters who just were sitting around waiting to do things.
Yeah, man, they were in those boxes gathering dust. Yeah, you gotta get them out.
I mean, they've gradually been going to new carriers,
but yeah, just being able to make a series of calls about what direction you want to take your country. Do you want to focus? And that's very dependent on
I
each.
should probably bring a few extra divisions home just to be safe.
On each country. Some you want to. Obviously, England needs to have a strong navy. Going full tank and full infantry if I don't have an active fight to send them to, or B, a way to get them there, a reliable way to get them there. But you could, and it's a very neat kind of sandbox in that respect.
All right, I think I'm ready for an unpause.
Okay, let's do it. You want speed 2?
Maybe.
Okay. We should probably build this heavy cruiser. I need to build some more dockyards. It's finally come to this. I'll have my first cruiser in 3 years. That's not gonna work. keep an eye on Brass's Civil War. That's actually we don't really have the visibility because we don't have any units adjacent.
Can you see the naval battle?
I can see there's one there. That's about it.
It's a big one.
I see 3 10v10s right now.
They may have 4 battleships engaged.
Ooh.
That's actually going to be maybe a scary fight.
It's pause for you or pause for me?
I paused it.
Cool. Let's make sure.
Unpausing.
Bring up our manpower a little bit. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if I send like a ship just to go watch if I'll be able to see anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go patrol nearby and see what's up. Tell you that they have some infantry on. Never mind, those are yours, not them. I got a glimpse of some of their units, but yeah, not reliable.
Yeah. I'm not sure my Navy's generally winning this so far. Kind of a lot of things happening at once.
Well, you know, you have all these. They were all one country just a few minutes ago, and now they all gotta figure out where their loyalties lie. Are you okay? So you are Democratic now. I see. Is that part of the deal?
Yeah, that's what this is all about.
I see. They're 100% fascist. So, and they're being supported by both Italy and Germany.
Yeah, those volunteers are maybe going to make things worse than I expected.
Yeah, I can't unfortunately send volunteers until it's more tense. How's the ground combat looking, at least?
Promising with my light tanks. Looks like I maybe should have just grouped all my fleets into one giant one. I don't know if like when they lose a battle, like when they lost their first battle, if they just stopped trying to do their search and destroy, and that let like the other ones would come straggling in then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it should have gone a lot better.
Was it clear before you did the event how your forces would split?
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, see, you know, there's some interesting throttles put on country behavior based on your ideology. So as a democratic nation, I can't the world tension percentage here in the upper right hand corner that will go up as countries do aggressive things really puts kind of a prohibitor on many of the things that democratic nations can do, because it's hard to excuse them, essentially, right? Like, because I'm a democratic nation and it's not particularly tense right now, I can't necessarily, in the scope of the world in 1937 December, say, I'm going to go help Japan, don't worry about it. And it's a really cool way to kind of model what the, because you know you wouldn't be able to justify that in the real world to your country or to Congress or to your parliament to say, hey, no reason, but I think we should go help Japan, other than, you know, they're...
Yeah, I'm honestly doing a very poor job of tracking what's going on here. Everyone's just running around.
Jack, yeah, there are treaties you can do.
I guess, I don't know, kind of the unfortunate thing here is it's going to be a horrendous amount of ships lost.
Well, if we just get that tension up to 50, I can help. Or you join the Allies. Actually, I can't invite you till it's 50% as well. So.
Yeah, I can't ask to join until I'm at peace again after this.
Yeah. So yeah, Jack, there are the treaty system is pretty limited. You can effectively send a non-aggression pact, or they can join your faction. There isn't a ton of diplomacy other than these small things like sending volunteers, which builds reputation. Trying to boost the
I really have no idea what's going on now.
Boost the popularity of their ideology with your own. Like, there's these kind of small vectors from the sides that you can affect, but there aren't grand sweeping treaties like there are in other kind of grand strategy games. I don't have the peeps to send an attaché, which I'm not even sure what that does mechanically.
I don't think it would be
players
especially helpful currently.
All right then, no attaché for you. Get those submarines cooking. We are short on oil, as is most of the world. So we're gonna go trade for it, and maybe construct some more of these questionable synthetic refineries that I don't know were happening too often. in the 1930s, but what do I know? I'm not an oil man. What's I gonna do? Trade, right. United States has a bunch of oil. This is their way. Trade some from them. Germany being uncharacteristically chill over here. 1938, and they're just chilling. I wonder if I could boost their Democratic Party a little bit. Try and maybe get rid of the fascists at some point. That might be a fun thing to quietly work on. I don't know what the ramifications of this would be. Oh, that might not be... I might not want to give them a reason to come after me. The Axis currently, I think, consists of just them and Italy yet? I don't think Italy has joined in this timeline. No, they have not. It's just Germany is the Axis, which is interesting. That they've not gone to get Italy in their clutches. So it's interesting because most games, the games that I've played, how they tend to shake out is we all wait to see what Germany does because they have such a huge impact on the state of things, and now that they're not really doing anything, and the Soviets are also intent to chill, and one of the big drivers of both how the AI behaves and how your country behaves are these focus trees that specifically, for example, there's one that I have well below, I should say well below the current ones I'm on, which essentially give me a reason, or if this was if this was Crusader Kings 2, it'd be a casus belli, a reason to go to war, to basically go after Japan. And almost every major country at this point has their own unique focus tree. With each expansion, they add more for each different country, so each country plays a little bit differently. Each major country, like the small ones like Bulgaria and Chile don't have their own yet, but all the majors have their own unique things that can unfold, and that really kind of sets you up to pick a way to play, because a lot of them are exclusive. Like, for example, Fortify the Rock and Coerce Spain. I can only pick one of these, and but this one I am basically trying to make Spain democratic. Here I'm just basically gearing up for a future war. So playing as one of the majors or a country that has its own tree is really the way to go. There is a generic focus tree for countries that are not currently fleshed out, but the real flavor of the game comes in kind of picking these inflection points. How are things going over there, sir?
It's hard to say, really.
I mean, the territory seems to be about the same last I saw, so that's a thing.
No, I pretty much got the northern island.
Oh, that's actually
They
true.
didn't really have anyone up there. I guess the big problem is the fleet that they got had a whole bunch of battleships.
Ooh.
And my carriers are having kind of a bunch of trouble dealing with battleships.
Do they have a decent amount of...
Even though that's where, like, all of my research is?
What's their Air Force like?
I don't honestly know. They've got at least some planes.
I mean, are you doing air engagements as well?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Letting my fleet just repair up a little bit now that I've got it more or less grouped up. I'm a little annoyed that it was, I don't know, it wasn't super easy to tell who had what.
Yeah, like, so was it just like, hey, you'll lose half your stuff? Or
Well, it
like...
wasn't half. I did get to keep the majority, just my stuff was kind of everywhere. And I had no idea how it was going to get split up, so I wasn't really ready for the event, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever.
Getting our battleships going. I really wish I could help him, but the world is not tense enough, unfortunately, for me to do so. Got some research finishing.
I have a proper offensive plan in the works. So we'll see how that goes. Like, I basically just need to break the line once. And I should be able to run right through.
Yeah, there were some interesting. I spoke briefly about this earlier, but there's some interesting alternative history things that happen here and there that don't really have any gameplay impact. Like they mentioned the Hindenburg had a close encounter but docked safely, and Amelia Earhart did her trip around the world, and there was a scary bit there around the triangle. Some cool little flavor things that don't always happen in every playthrough. Sometimes Hindenburg crashes, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a neat touch that they didn't have to do. Let's get our creatures going. How are our subjects doing? Our loyal subjects. Canada is slipping further away. I don't have a way to stop them. Sorry for the Lapse of silence. Alright. Yeah, let's
I
get.
forget, wasn't there a way
Australia.
Oh, there they are. Never mind.
Got my men still doing jumping jacks. Earning that XP. The very tiny
Well, they
amount of
apparently
XP.
have air superiority. Just because of where the airfields are.
Yeah, because if they're closer to the operation.
Yeah. So it turns out I have no airfields in range of all this.
But you have the carriers, though, right? Don't they act as a?
Yeah, but they don't hold. I don't think they're holding enough to matter.
Well,
So that's kind of awkward.
You could build one. As fast as you
Yeah,
can
I'm
build
working
stuff.
on it.
Whoops. That's why we don't keep empty bottles of water on the desk. So yeah, Germany just chilling out. Germany's just chilling out, man. I'm really surprised. Oh, they're working on treaty with the USSR. Oh, goodness. Oh, boy. I'm not sure a treaty with the USSR is in our interests. Dear God.
Yeah.
I mean, well...
Huh, communism is 20% in Germany.
Interesting. I wonder if they've been pushed by the Soviets through events or through other methods.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, this could be a very bad thing for us if Germany and Russia, the Soviet Union, team up, to be honest. Because although they've not done anything in terms of broadening the Axis faction.
Well, I gotta admit, I hope for something a little more interesting as far as setup here. But I guess I didn't understand what was going to happen, so...
Well, I mean, and you also had the goal of leaning towards democracy, so that was a big part of it too, I'm sure. But yeah, so it's an interesting map state right now. The U.S., of course, is not doing a whole lot in the war or in the state of things. France, now a member of the Allies. So the Allies, not really any major conflicts at the moment. One would imagine that once Germany, I don't know which faction will actually win out in the end there between the Axis and Comintern. It's kind of interesting. This is another reason why I really enjoy playing with historical AI off, is that you don't know what's going to happen exactly. You know, if you have it stick to the plan and have it stick to history, you know exactly when, or roughly when, countries are going to behave a certain way, and you can plan accordingly, and you can, you know, it's cool to, you know, simulate the actual events and try and guide a country to behave a certain way that you would to have a certain impact on the actual war. But I don't know, I'm more interested to see what could have happened if then, you know, you get to kind of explore the infinite amount of decision trees that took place at the time. Right now, yeah, Jack saying that if it was a more abstracted kind of randomly generated world, would it be as interesting? And I don't, or as engaging. Personally, it wouldn't be to me. The reason, part of the appeal for me is because I'm familiar with these countries to the extent that my history has taught me, that it's engaging to see a thing that I know pretty well play out differently, and to see these, it's also, you see countries change shape. They during one playthrough, all of Soviet Russia was Japan, and that's just, regardless of your views on the ideology of either sovereignty, that's a neat thing to see, right? If it was just hexes on a grid that were generated, definitely wouldn't be as engaging, because you come into this, like, regardless of where you are in the world, you come into this with a preconceived kind of suitcase of, I know roughly how the various countries of the world behave and their ideologies, and either if you're interested in playing them out and simulating them, that's cool. If you're interested, like I am, to see them play out differently, it's cool. Playing Civ with the world war map is cool, although it bugs me when I really like playing Civ with that, except when cities aren't placed where they should be, I get itchy. Because I'm like, well, this looks like Japan, but it's not. This isn't where Alexandria is, and it's a personal tick. Nothing against the game mode, but yeah, I think this definitely scratches that itch of playing with the world much better. I would, all of the grand strategy games that Paradox puts out, they all kind of scratch that itch to various degrees, because they're all obviously based on the real world to various degrees. Kind of curious if they're going to do anything with the Victoria line. That's the only thing that they haven't really modernized yet. I don't know if that's a thing that they're. That's true. Yeah, colonizing the world how you see fit, certainly. There's a, I can definitely see a certain satisfaction to that, and kind of see it would be cool, like there's a very interesting game somewhere of taking all the Paradox games from Crusader Kings 2 all the way through Hearts of Iron, I guess it would be Hearts of Iron 4, would be, hell, you could even do Solaris, but, and I know there are mods that let you export the world state between those games. I would love to see that formalized in some way, because they certainly could make a very interesting, way to play those games and spend as much time as you do in those sections of time. That's compelling. I haven't tried any of those mods. I heard that they can get a little fudgy, as you would imagine, because the data's not necessarily compatible. But While Brass is dealing with his civil war, I'm gonna kind of try and keep things rolling here. I want more of my resources to stay indoors. Yeah. Alrighty, Jack. Thanks for coming out, man. It's always good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. I kind of wish Germany and Russia would get on with it so I could get the world tension up a little bit. It's certainly interesting that there aren't, as a democratic country, there aren't ways to.
Looks like I've got myself a little bit of a breakthrough.
You can't be aggro as democracy, which makes sense. It's good. Good to hear. I keep scrolling over every now and then, worried that it'll just be brown. How is our loyal subjects doing? This does take a long time to tick. The Raj is more likely to come over than just through force of will. Want some old subs? Can't even send them old subs. Want some old rifles? Oh, they're not too impressed with my old rifles. That's fair. They're old. nukes going quietly. Between you and me.
Things are looking more under control than they were.
It's excellent to hear.
I don't actually know where their navy's gone, but I haven't seen it in a while. Or, I mean, I beat up a few ships here and there, so I think it retreated. Oh, here it is. It just showed up, never mind. The AI makes some very strange choices.
Just in terms
Like
of...
leaving guys to guard an empty pocket where there's no actual troops left.
Yeah, that's a little...
When all they need to do is move one guy in, claim it, and move on. They had like 3 divisions tied up there. Also, their fleet keeps hopping out and disrupting strait crossings.
Is that actually impacting you?
No, but my fleet can't find them and then they go back into port. Oh, looks like we maybe found them finally.
Some Italian units I saw in the south
Yeah.
there. Oh shit! Germany
What's
is justifying against me. I thought we were gonna be cool, Germany.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes. Way to... Yeah, I thought Germany was gonna be cool.
Did you really though?
No. Though they're not particularly, I guess this depends on how... So I guess they didn't end up allying with the Soviets at all? Because that policy, or that focus came and went.
Huh. Yeah, maybe they chose not to accept it.
Yeah, they're not even friendly with them. So, I mean, if Germany wants to come at me, we can do this. Because right now the axis is literally just Germany, so. Alright, well, let's start.
I moved my whole fleet down to where their fleet kept popping out, and they've decided to stay in port now.
Stop with the jumping jacks. Let's start getting.
Ready to move.
I wonder if I can get them to come out and fight if I have my tanks try to cross the strait again.
Let's bring him over.
No, they came out, but there was no
We need
fight.
Every body we have now.
Move out.
Let's bring them home for now, because we're not caring about this. Actually, I intended for this to. Nope. I intended for this to patrol in the Mediterranean. Bring our men home. Prepare.
Ready to move.
Germany wants some more? We can do this.
Ready.
I'm going to essentially bring them down by the border.
This is such a weird little war.
Listen up.
Just with how the AI is behaving.
Ready, sir.
Somewhat, yeah.
Listen up.
That and the fact that I know exactly where their fleet is. I have my fleet sitting on top of them, and when they pop out to block crossings,
Ready.
my guys don't find them.
They
every
really
time.
want to they really enjoy blocking those crossings, don't they?
Maybe when they pop out, I can do like a search and destroy real fast. Oh, that time they just sailed away.
Okay.
Now they're sailing back.
Hey man, good AI is hard to write sometimes.
Some impressive micromanagement there, I guess.
I mean, wait, have you seen their APMs, man?
It's too fast for human sight.
Ready to move.
All right, so we're gonna bring all
Alright,
of our
looks like I finally got the silly city.
bring all of our boys home.
That probably won't be enough to end the war, but hey.
Certainly progress towards the.
Listen up.
Okay, the AI did actually remember to move somebody in there. But they also kind of forgot to leave people, like, they're not guarding these crossings.
Quite this direction.
So when my guys moved out very briefly because of the my attempt to search and destroy, the AI just got to wander across with the division. They didn't do anything with it, they just sat there, but hey.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I should have had them use the railroad to get down there. That's silly. I didn't do that.
Move out.
So much quicker to have them take a train. I kind of wish they sort of did it on their own, but better control or really got those guns up fast when I stopped doing jumping jacks.
Yes, sir.
What's that channel? We'll get there. It's a bit of channel hammer.
Yeah, this would not be a good ridge to take in a historical fight.
Yeah, I would guess not. Hello, Prussian streamer. Thanks for stopping by. How are you doing today / tonight? Alright, so we want to set up a...
Ready.
I'm doing well, thank you. Trying to defend the aggressive overtures of Germany, you know, as you do on a Friday night.
The whole ability to flicker out and back into a port is the silliest thing.
Yeah, because they're not considered active at that point, right? They're just stored there.
I don't know. They can stop me from crossing, but my fleet cannot engage them.
Prussian streamer, in this particular map, Austria is not aggressive. They
Oh,
are.
there we go. My tanks got across.
They are.
They finally flickered across too late.
Austria, yeah, Austria is not with Germany. Austria is just doing their own thing. So we are not against Austria right now. And we have no reason to be. I am playing the United Kingdom. BrassGecko, who is my the person I'm playing with, is playing Japan. But yeah, Austria is just chilling out right now. And I'm perfectly happy that they can keep doing that. Looks like Austria is actually Austria-Hungary right now. I don't know the historical implications of that. Yeah, we wanted to try and do. There are a few things in the tech tree for Japan that let them work with England, and we wanted to try that out. Currently, Japan, it's 1938, and Japan is democratic. He's having a bit of a civil war right now. Looks like he's doing pretty well, so I am hopeful he'll come out on top of that as a free democratic nation. Let's see what Germany's up to. They are currently working on Demand Sudenland, which is interesting. France is in the Allies right now, so as am I, as the UK. So we are allied together. Germany hasn't done anything aggressive yet. All they've really done is basically justify against me as a possible enemy, but they've not actually declared war yet. So we're going to see what they do. If they try and go after France, then I will absolutely help them, because although currently right now the French have a better army than I do, but I have a pretty decent navy. So.
All right, this is a good stopping point for me.
Okay. All right, man. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and unfortunately we've been playing for almost 4 hours, the Persian streamer. So I'm sorry that we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. But you know, give me a follow and you can watch next time we play. We like to play all sorts of games here, so always up for new people to follow us. Is there anything that you wanted to tackle before we stop, or are you good?
Nope, now it's good.
Okay. It's been saved.
Alrighty. Looks like I've got the little civil war about 2/3 completed.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, Germany's just justifying it right now. They're not really doing a whole lot, but I've got we got an army on the border just in case. Persian streamer, I usually play 8 p.m. my time, Eastern time in the U.S. But I'm also
will actually get interesting next time.
Indeed.
Do you can you see how long it's going to take them?
I don't think so. Actually, can I? Persian streamer, I am. If
it's just standard justification without them having any sort of focus on top of it, it'll probably take a little while.
Yeah. I am. If you follow me on Twitch, you can get a notification when I play. But like I said, I usually play in the evenings U.S. time, but I also play during the day. So. Alrighty, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off.
Alright, later, man.
See ya. Persian streamer. Yeah, Persian streamer. That's the plan. Is to, if we can try and make them democratic, that'd be great. But yeah, thanks for the follow, and I look forward to hanging out with you in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off now. Thanks for everyone who. This has been a 4-hour stream. Wow, this goes fast. Everyone who came out and chatted with me, and we'll see you guys later.